Yo, what's happening, world? Name's Raheem Flowers. I'm in the heart of downtown Chicago, and I was thinking about a conversation I was having with this woman that I was talking to, and we were having an extensive conversation between, the dynamics between men and women and whatnot. And I was telling her, honestly, I'd argue that most women like to be manipulated. Hence the title of this video. And she said to me, no, women just want to be led on. But being led on is simply a euphemism for manipulation. You see, I've come to the realization that when it comes to dealing with a lot of these women, and then when men sit here and complain about the Chads and the Tyrones, I compare Chad and Tyrones to an incubus. And an incubus is, in short, a sexual demon. Somebody who emanates sexual energy, which women are typically involved with. But it's kind of like a demon being asleep. And for those who watch anime, if you ever watch Berserk, you know that there's a scene where Casca was arguably being molested / raped by Griffith. If you know, you know. And I think to myself, there's no point of complaining about the nature of women, everything that's within natural law. I thought about something that Judah, shout out to Chronicles of Judah, once said. Like, once you start to understand women and just the whole nature and the dynamic between the two, the divine feminine, the divine masculine energy, once you start to really understand and appreciate these things, trust me, you start to alleviate a lot of stress. As I've gotten older, as I've gotten wiser through my experiences with women, whether they're women significantly older or women significantly younger or within my age range. So I'm thinking to myself, man, when I went through a scenario last night, matter of fact, one was playing games with me. I was talking to her, sitting down with her at a Target near Loyola University, and I went to use the bathroom. I'd argue that she ditched me. So I was about to go back to the crib. I was about to go home. Then she called me on one of those no-caller IDs. So I'm like, who the fuck is this? And then she's like, come to this 7-Eleven. I'm like, all right. 7-Eleven was literally across the street. It wasn't even 3 minutes away. It was like maybe a minute away, if even that. So like, all right, I went. And then she had like some iced coffee and shit, and then she's like, can you get me a blunt? I'm like, seriously? So I looked at the clerk looked at me, clerk looked at her, I smirked, walked off on that bitch. Fuck you talking about? That's what I did. And then she started chasing me out the store, and then she said, hold on, wait. And I was like, you going to the train? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to the train. Wasn't going with her. And then I looked at her in the eye and said, hey, one thing you're going to learn about me is I'm not a sucker. He's like, no, I'm not. I don't think that you are a sucker. Don't be angry. I'm like, I'm not angry. It's just, I'm not going to take no bullshit either. You just don't take fuckery from anybody, man, woman, etc. So you got to just put your foot down. And a lot of men don't do that enough. And I'm glad to share my own experience with you guys. Walked off. Kirk was laughing and shit. I was like, yeah, y'all all gonna get the wrath of Raw. And I mean, I wasn't angry, but I was annoyed because I wasted my time. I could have been doing other things. I could have been creating content, creating thumbnails, building my portfolio through my endeavors. But spent maybe 45 minutes or an hour, because I was thinking maybe I could build some rapport, maybe I could get some pussy out of this in the process. So that's what inspired me to make this. And shout out to Kane Carter, man. That brother's still at it in 2023. He also inspired me to make this video as well. And I'm thinking to myself, this is how I know that I'm changing for the better. because the old me would have been compelled to curse her out. But I just looked at her. I'm like, I'm too jaded to even give a fuck. The only thing I even cared about that my time was wasted. I mean, at this juncture in my life, as I get older, I don't sweat not getting laid as much as I did in my 20s. So that's how I look at that. So when I look at dudes, when they describe the Chads and the Tyrones, from my understanding, a Chad and Tyrone is just a cross-reference to being an alpha male and a male that's supposed to be a part of this apex that has been conjured up, or as I like to call it, male astrology. But here's the thing about astrology. When I look at consultations, when I look at it from a historical, metaphysical aspect, I don't think that astrology is all that superstitious as we make it out to be. I do think that oftentimes it's the westernized aspect of it that is. I mean, even when I was just randomly just looking stuff up, like I'm in Ra because, I'm in Aries, I was born on April 8th and whatnot, and the ram was in reference, like when you think about the Sagittarius, you think about the headhunter or Nimrod. I mean, it's just that I think we just need to learn how to discern, and it's just like researching. You just got to properly do it. I mean, King Solomon was said to be an astrologer as well, and he's said to be the wisest king. So I don't think Solomon would do something as foolish as to partake in a field if it didn't have any sort of merit behind it. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying? So I just think that people need to people should do their research within their own discretion instead of just writing it off and just make it seem like everything is superstitious, because somebody might say, a girl might tell you, oh, well, I'm a Virgo, but my moon sign is a Scorpio or some shit like that, right? So it's just the westernized ignorance and superficial aspect of it, I would argue and say. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's my overall take on the consultations and astrology/zodiacs. But yeah, like, keep your head up, fellas, man. Keep your head up. Like, life gets better for us as men as we get older. As long as that we get on our A game and we start to like create value and just keep working hard and grinding. That's what I'm beginning to learn. Life just gets better for us as men. As for women, not saying that a woman's life can't be good and can't be healthy and can't be joyous, but let's be real. A woman gets more out of life when she's in her youth than when she's in her 30s, 40s. Just biologically and typically interpersonally, is from what I've gathered. So we don't have to get upset with women and say, oh, well, you wanted Chad and you wanted Tyrone when you were 21, and now that you're 30 and you got like 3-4 kids, now you want to get with me. You don't got to play simp stepdaddy. Just walk away from her, deal with her accordingly. Real simple. And never, ever, ever let her shame and let her guilt you and let her play games. I had old girl try to call me last night. I'm like, nope. I already know it's you. Try to block that number, but I don't know how to block no caller ID numbers. Anywho, so I wanted to share that story, and I wanted to give you all that perspective. Back to what I was saying about manipulation, though. Think about it. I didn't want to derail from that. When it comes to manipulation, think about it. We think about seduction, we think about flirting, and we think about when women say, well, it's not really so much of what he did, it's more so how he approached me, it's more so how he said it. So you need to understand that manipulation requires skill. Talking to women, seduction, flirtation is also an aspect of skill. When we use the word manipulation, just like I told the lady that I was talking to, we associate it with malignant, evil traits, malevolent traits, bad traits that would be harmful and that would do something to somebody's psyche and spirit. That's usually what we tend to associate manipulation with, evil. When manipulation It's just what it is. It just depends on where the individual is coming from. I mean, you can manipulate a child to take vitamins, but you're doing it through the guise that he's going to enjoy it. Because a child could take cod liver oil and cod liver pills and refuse to take it because he doesn't like the taste, the bitterness, the fact that it's not flavorful. But then you go get one of those vitamin gummies, you get a substitute for it that might be more appealing. And then the reality is you're still doing the same thing. Refusing to take the vitamins, refusing to take gummies, but you're saying, hey, take this. It's going to be good. It's good for you. Or it's like somebody who doesn't want to have a plant-based diet or a substitution, but then you know that this person likes eating meat, but then instead you get one of those plant-based things. Don't tell them, and then they enjoy it, and then you tell them afterwards. Manipulation, trickery, same difference if you ask me. It's all about how it's executed more than the action of it itself. It's all about how they feel about the manipulation during the fact. Yeah. I mean, why do you think a lot of dudes who go around simping and groveling over women and vice versa, when women go and grovel over dudes who tell them sweet nothings and sell them the dream, but the dream is something that seems enchanting, which is a form of what? Manipulation. You see, we get so tied into cultural Marxism and political correctness and just being soft with everything that we say and everything that we do, that if you look at things in its naked form, a lot of it is manipulation, but it's all about how people mask it up. I would argue, and in my personal opinion and perspective. So that's what I would have to say about that. I mean, and I'm gonna talk about this in a later video when it comes to spells. And I said this in an old post about it. When it comes to spells and words and etymology and where that derives from. Even the word spell is spelt spell, like magic. And words have power to it, which is why people, we're gonna say that for the next video. But yeah, these women like the Chads and the Tyrones, the Incubuses, get up all in their guts. What's the point of complaining about it, fellas? Just get on your A game. We don't have to worry about these dudes getting them, because in the end, those dudes don't have a legacy, because they're probably not going to have a child. A lot of those dudes are not going to have somebody, they're not going to have any children, no sons, nobody to carry on their legacy. So it's a double-edged sword for them to be living that life. It's hard out here for a pimp and a simp. But yeah, they don't, like, the grass might look greener on the other side, but it's really not. There's a drawback in even having that lifestyle. It's just, you don't need to go Elliot Rodgers and incels, as they say. You don't need to go into that mode either. It's just about, it's like what Judah would say, Chronicles of Judah 144. Like, when I used to listen to him back in the day in 2018, 2019, like, once you understand a woman, bro, like, life gets a lot easier. Like, when it comes to, like, intersexual dynamics, life gets hell of a lot easier, bro. We don't need to go on extensive diatribes, but we also need to recognize what it is. You just have to accept it. You don't gotta like it. Just find ways to maneuver through it. And just take people for what they are and deal with them accordingly. And I say that about any and everybody all across the board. But I think that's what I'm gonna say for now. Peace out, one love.